dinking it down in the right channel for Timo Werner, who made that run. He loves to make them early, and he loves it when he's picked out. It hasn't happened often enough. N'Golo Conte here in the right channel. And now it's back in the centre circle with Andreas Christensen. Told us on Sunday on the 5th standout how pleased he is in Thiago Silva's absence to be getting a good run of games. And I think he's looking stronger with each game. I suppose that's not a surprise, but he was excellent against Man U.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Rudiger's had one of his best runs he's had at Chelsea. You know, he's got such a burst of confidence recently. And there's a couple of, I mean, you must have spotted it against Manchester United. Those bursts from the deep area. That lovely ball he plays, a 70-80 yards cross-field ball.
Yes, he hit 3 of them in that game. He was the best Chelsea passer on the day.
Yeah, he's done that many times in the past. I mean, in fact, when David Luiz was in the team, it was always David that did it, but he would do it now and again as well. Now, to be fair, he's got that in his locker. And oddly enough, when he's on the left-hand side as he is just now, he's ended up using his right foot, and it gives him a great opportunity to really zip across the other side, so it works.
Awkward ball in behind, looking for Salah. Mendy was alive to the danger. He comes out and his D and clears. Mendy all in pale grey. Away to our left tonight. I should just tell you the referee is Martin Atkinson, a late change to your programme. He was with Craig Pawson isolating. So very, very late call. Now the ball is bouncing here for Ben Chilwell, and he had to just head it out of play. It's a Liverpool throw, quite near that far corner flag on their right wing on that other side of the field.
They're actually looking, you know, not over-excitable about this. The Liverpool times going past, you know, they come out, guns blazing at 100 miles an hour. They're not really being like that in this game, which is no surprise because, I mean, they won't be as confident as they've been in the past.
And they're not being ruled on.
Yeah, and yeah, that's a good point. That's a very, very good point. The other thing is, you know, the amount of games a lot of these players have played is just incredible. So they will be conservative to some degree.
Reece James has just chested it down for Andy Robertson here. That will go down as a bit of an error. Certainly if something comes of it, here's Salah right channel. Now Robertson might hit this. He does, and it's wide. 20-yarder, low, left-footed, well wide, but there'll be a sigh of relief from Reece James, who chested it down for the Scot in the first place.
Yeah, funnily enough, Reece has made a couple of errors, you know, in the last couple of games where, well, not even errors, you know. When you think of Reece, you think of, right, okay, real power, comfort in the ball, amazing crossing. He's actually had one opportunity to make a cross in the game so far, and he didn't actually take it. And that's when he's at his very best. Get that ball in and get it in really early with pace.
I'm sure they do collect data on these things, but I'm confident enough to just say it without knowing it. Reece James can't have put in 20% of his usual amount of crosses in the last couple of months than he would normally.
You're absolutely right, and it's, I mean, sometimes it's just a slightly different position, you know, the way the team's set up. And if you've got an out-and-out winger outside you, and you've got an understanding with him, like he did for a period of time with Ziyech, move inside and create the space, it's not quite been happening the same way, just the way we set up. And it's not actually played that many games under Thomas Tuchel.
No, Callum Hudson-Odoi's had it nailed down, but not far off. He started as many as any. Kabak here passes it into the centre circle, and Firmino, with his excellent cushion touch, gets away from Jorginho. Curtis Jones going down the left channel, and Robertson wide left for Liverpool. Their red kit playing from right to left with nearly 8 minutes played at Anfield. It's a real 6-pointer. I should say, although Everton have now played the same amount of games as both of these two, a winner here tonight would go above Everton for now, having played a game more. Either of these sides win, they go fourth. So it's going to be tough and ridiculous all the way to the end, I'm sure. But suddenly, this new season, I still think of it as the new season. There's 12 games left. Well, 11 and 3 quarters.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I mean, you just think somebody just needs to put a run together. Robertson trying to get the band. Don't think he got there in time. Somebody just puts a run together. It's an easy sentence, that, but nobody apart from Manchester City can actually do it.
You're right. I mean, even, you know, obviously the last couple of years people have been talking about City had a 15-game run. I remember when they got 100 points, and Liverpool obviously last year, ridiculous. But right now, you take City out of it, no one can win 3 in a row. Never mind 12 and 15 and that sort of nonsense. But
I think Chelsea are just about as good a run as there is.
Yeah, absolutely. Next best after Manchester City. It's 6 wins and 3 draws for Team Tuchel. No defeats. It's not bad. 10th game in, but as has been pointed out, let's be honest, it was a pretty gentle start as things go. It was Burnley and Wolves, Newcastle, Barnsley, a Tottenham team without Harry Kane, Southampton who were in terrible form, Newcastle, but well, the harder games began with Atletico Madrid, and that was an away win. Manchester United wasn't the best, let's be honest, but it was a point against the best away team in the land, and now Anfield tonight, so sterner test coming for sure. Curtis Jones on halfway here, Azpilicueta following him, and Conte, and then Ziyech. None of them managed to get the ball. He might even have been fouled. He's clipped a really awkward little ball over the top from Mane, but there's too much on it. Mendy collects and then bowls it across his D to Tony Rudiger.
Look, nobody got it, but did you see the tackle, the snapping in there? There's 4 different players in there tackling, giving no space at all. I'd love to see that. Good ball.
Chilwell early to Werner. Been crying out for that this season, and Werner lashes one from inside the D, dead centre. Not far off target either. He absolutely thrives on these passes coming early, and he will look like a totally different striker if he gets them.
Yeah, I mean, he never thinks, does he? You know, get the first touch out, and the next touch is almost certainly going to be leathered towards goal. Now, it's a little bit over the... He wants a little bit curling that, but he's not a curler type of player when he shoots, is he? He's a ping it, get it straight, lift her, beat the goalkeeper. But that will give him a bit of confidence, that. Just one ball over the top, nothing complicated.
Jorginho did one early from the quick free kick. You remember games like Southampton when Werner scored twice? One was a ball from the back where he spanned Bednarek and twisted him, and another was a quick one, Jorginho over the top. That's his game. And Chelsea might not necessarily have played like that under Lampard, or indeed that often under Tuchel, but if those balls come earlier, he will always be making that run in the channel and wanting it early. And one of the reasons he hasn't got the goals is because there's been too patient a build-up into him. He's not that sort of striker, but if Chelsea are going to play a bit quicker like that tonight, for instance, and beyond, why not? Rudiger's looking for him here, and he's found it. Brilliant, on the chest. Fabinho nips in, almost picked his pocket. Just felt a bit stretched for a moment there, but now it comes back to Rudiger with 11 and a half played. And Christensen, who was sent off against Liverpool early this season.
Ben, I can't believe the line Liverpool are playing against us. Now, I suspect just went offside again there, and he has gone offside a couple of times already, Timo Werner. But the line that they're playing, we're in line with it here. They're halfway inside their own half, playing against a guy who all he wants to do is zoom in behind. It's really, really odd, and they're not giving each other any depth. They're aligned.
And it's not like they're super quick. Kabak is young, he's sprightly enough. Fabinho is certainly not quick. Here's Wijnaldum. I mean by modern football and Timo Werner standards. I don't mean by me and Pat Nevin. Here is Thiago. Now Trent Alexander-Arnold just inside the Chelsea half, gives it to Salah right on the far touchline. Salah plays it down that wing, but Trent Alexander-Arnold who continued his run, and that's very well followed. Mason Mount followed him all the way, and Chelsea playing their way out of trouble. Beautiful. Oh, and then not so beautiful from Jorginho to give it back to Mo Salah. Here's Wijnaldum, who scored in this fixture last season. Mind you, off the Liverpool team did 5-3. Absolutely ridiculous game of football that was.
Yeah, but you know, the moment you wouldn't be surprised if this game, if it got an early goal, you could get quite a few, because it actually does look quite good when both teams are pushing hard.
Correct. I felt the same about Man U at the weekend. If there was an early goal, there'd be a few, and if there wasn't, it would be 0-0. And 50-50 there. Reece James going in on Mane. I thought he got some ball. Mane got up really quickly. But Martin Atkinson said free kick. That looked like a great tackle from here. Yeah. A good angle on it.
I mean, they've always got the referees. They can say, oh, so we've seen it again. Well done.
Great call, Martin Atkinson.
But fortunately, he actually didn't get Mane either. You know, he's just
amazed he's not rolling about. Actually, fair play to him for getting up, because that's the sort that kind of player might. Wijnaldum tries to clip one over the top. They've looked for that little clip a few times too, but it's through to Mendy again.
But there is a gap.
Yeah.
The problem is there is a gap.
Not as big as the one down this end.
Correct. There is a gap to go and flick it in there. The thing is with Chelsea, you've got Mendy in there, and he's never going to do on his line. I mean, he's always going to be maybe a wee bit too far out.
That's correct. If anything, yes, he's certainly not backward in coming forward, and sometimes maybe even a bit too much. Here's Salah clipping one into the box. That's an awkward one, and Azpilicueta made it look easy by controlling it on his thigh. And N'Golo Conte to the centre circle. Ziyech turns away from Salah.
By the way, he was on again. Werner was on again there. As soon as it came, to N'Golo Kante there. His hand was up. What was it?
Line here, they're on the halfway line, and Azpilicueta's got it about 30 yards away from him.
I want Jorginho on the ball in midfield with a little bit of space.
And he's got it right now. And he's played it short and squarest to Mount, who's darting, and Chilwell is outside him on the left side. Mason Mount cuts infield from Thiago, fires it into the box. A difficult take that for Werner. Second control is cleared by Kabak, but Ziyech has won it back. Ball in the middle of the Liverpool half, the right half of it as we're looking. The Chelsea attack from the top end off to our right there. Full of its flags. Here's Reece James, takes it on the chest. He'll have a crossing opportunity here. He pulls it back from the back of the box, but Wijnaldum is mopping up. And it's Andy Robertson to clear towards Salah. And that'll be a Chelsea throw on the far side that Rudiger was thinking about taking quickly in a hurry. Is he still going to take it? No, he drops the ball. It's amazing how often you think, someone who doesn't take the throws is going to take it. They almost never do. Yeah. They then actually go, no, okay.
Now get back out of the right position, that's the important thing to do there. But once again, Rudiger's one-on-one with Salah and wins that one-on-one. He's very good against Salah when he's got one-on-ones.
No one picked up Mount from the Chelsea throw there. There was shouts of anguish from the Klopp bench. Here's Azpilicueta, level with Klopp. Playing it forward to Ziyech. He quickly gets it out to this near side. Reece James, can you cross? Yes, he can. But he doesn't need the first man. Ozan Kabak gets his head in there. And then Azpilicueta hooks it into Werner, who tries to lift it over Alisson. There was no flag. That's a good chance on the presumption he was onside. It just bounced in front of him. A sort of snap chance coming at you on the bounce that you wouldn't expect, and he had to try and lift it over him from about 8 yards out.
I mean, he knows now, after trying to lift it over Alisson, they had time not to lift it over, take it down. He had time to take it down.
He actually could have controlled it 8 yards out, and he'd have been all alone one-on-one, because that Liverpool line was up again. Werner just made another run after that in there as a scooped pass comes in towards Ziyech. And he's going to get there, you know, and cut it back. Liverpool's defence looking a bit ragged all of a sudden, and certainly a bit optimistic. Azpilicueta shoots from the edge of the box. High, central, a few feet over Alisson's crossbar. I think Chelsea are looking far more likely to score than Liverpool at the moment.
Absolutely, 100% at the moment. Liverpool are trying to break, and when they get good possession in the final third, yes, they do look as if they can play some intricate passes, yet they are a very good forward line. Yeah, but Chelsea, each time you break, there are spaces to run into. There are people who will be saying,
yeah, it was well onside.
Yeah, well onside. That wasn't the question, I didn't think. Because it was just, you know, I'm amazed. And you look at it again now, he just thinks the keeper is going to come out. He's turned around and he thinks he's going to have Alisson in his face. But he's not. Yeah. And he had time to take it down.
You get those chances in the box every now and then, don't you, where you think, oh, if only you had eyes in the back of your head on the sides as well, you would actually have known that, oddly, you do have more time than you should have.
Which you never do, usually.
Yeah, exactly. So you presume either a challenge from a defender or a goalkeeper will be, there's no way I'll be all alone on my own 8 yards out to control the football, but actually in that instance, if someone could have told him there was time, they're on the halfway line again. It's a dicey game they're playing. I fancy this.
It's a dream scenario. It's an absolute dream scenario for Timo Werner just now. And he'll keep on making it. He will not stop making these runs.
He's on the edge of the box here. He's running to Fabinho looking for a free kick. He won't get it. And, you know, I'm credit to Tuchel, I guess. He probably thought, and it's not rocket science, how Liverpool play. I probably would have picked Werner up top tonight, not Giroud, for that very reason, right? You want Casey running in behind. It's not like they're going to sit on the edge of their 18-yard line and defend it. Anfield, or indeed anyway. Is Mount poking it through. Chilwell has a chance to cross from the left, and for him, sorry, that's just not good enough. He had 2-3 in there, and actually N'Golo arriving too. He's hit the first man, and it's put out of play, but that's a great chance to pick out someone there.
You've got to just put it between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper, and that's all you do. Beat the first man. He's got plenty of space to do it. He knows himself. The reason why he did it, when the ball was played to him, it was slightly behind where he wanted. He wasn't running directly onto it, but he's should have put it in there.
On his favoured foot. It is a corner, I should say, incidentally. It did go behind. Off that first man for a corner. Mason Mount far side. Chelsea left wing takes it. Right-footed in swinger. Not a good one, I'm afraid. Robertson got a flick on it, and might be a counter here. Suddenly, the counter would have been the two full-backs, incidentally, both up the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold's given it away. Liverpool looked bright for the first few minutes, but it's been all Chelsea for the last 15. And suddenly, it's 3 on 5. Mount running towards the edge of the box. Timo Werner, tight angle. He does put it across the face of goal, but no one is there. I think Liverpool looks ragged at the back.
Ragged's been kind. a mess and a shambles I would go for. For a team of the quality that they are, it's absolutely incredible how much space that our forwards are finding to get right hand side, left hand side, get into the byline. Werner ideas for places to run into. It's astonishing the space they're getting.
Yeah, Mount on the ball just with two defenders to run at, and Werner looking, I think, a safe bet for a goal here tonight. There's a free kick to Liverpool right in front of the Liverpool technical area because Sadio Mane popped it through the legs of Azpilicueta, who pulled him back. I should note there was not a caution from Martin Atkinson, so that's good news. Here's Alexander-Arnold. Now Thiago on the halfway line, but has to go all the way back to Fabinho.
And honestly, it does not look like Liverpool. If they weren't wearing red just now, considering the team were last season, you wouldn't think it was the same team just now. But having said that, Chelsea have closed them down. There's only 20 minutes gone. There's no goals been scored yet. Anything can change, but Chelsea will be really delighted with their start just now.
If they keep playing how they are defensively, you can't see anything other than Chelsea scoring a goal. Here's Fabinho looking long. That would be too long. Just another long hopeful ball for Salah, and Mendy gets there first.
I wonder why they do it. You do that. You look up, you see a ball on, and it's a foot race between Salah and Rudiger. And I know that 90% of the players, Salah's going to do you for this, but he ain't going to do that with Rudiger.
Yeah, if it was Mane and Azpilicueta, I'd understand it, but he's actually pinged it, you're right, down that right wing 2 or 3 times there from the back there, Liverpool. You'd understand Mane will beat Azpilicueta, roles reverse, but they haven't tried that one. In the centre circle, Mason Mount does well, and N'Golo Kante has it here. Chelsea bossing possession here, big time. And Liverpool looking for a long ball counter-attack. Christensen has it right in the middle of the Chelsea half, and he's got time. Plays a vertical ball up to Mount, who gets it to Reece James. And then actually comes back to Christensen again. It was a very tight game at the Bridge at the start of this season until Andreas got sent off for that last man foul. And then 2 in 5 minutes from Sadio Mane at the shed end with a fortunate bit of help from Kepa. And that game was done basically because that was suddenly 2-0, 10 men, no chance, so couldn't really base a lot on that.
Just watching Turkey.
What is that? Kabak's going to head it back. Kabak heads it back towards Alisson. That's weird. I mean, he nearly scored an own goal there. Well, he did, didn't he, the other day, but it was ruled out for offside on Ollie McBurney in the Sheffield United game. Kabak put one past Adrian, and now Kabak comes forward and
do you think
puts one out of play down at the other end of the field.
Do you think my phrase shambles is too harsh? Not at the moment, is it?
Atrocious.
It's extraordinary to see what's happening with that group of players just now. They look so low in confidence, but if Liverpool scored a goal, you'd see that confidence coursing back through them again.
Yeah, but you're right.
They're not there.
As you said, you weren't at Anfield and they weren't in that kit, and you couldn't see Jurgen Klopp in his baseball cap down there. You wouldn't believe it. Incidentally, the Chelsea subs have all just been given dark blue blankets by a member of backroom staff down there. It is freezing here.
Is it? Says the one with a heater.
Says Pat. In the same way you wouldn't know it's Liverpool, you wouldn't know it's Pat. He's all clad in black and with a, it looks like the Michelin Man. Absolutely. It is really cold. It's sort of surprisingly cold. Even the locals were surprised how cold it was tonight. It's back with Mendy on his penalty spot. All in grey, gives it to Azpilicueta on the edge of the box here. Despite the Chelsea chances, the returning Alisson has watched them go over the bar and past his post so far. There's a ball on here. I think Ziyech was off, but Werner was on and Alisson's got through. It's going to be 1-0. It is. Absolute calamity.
We keep on waiting for the assistant referee to throw up his flag. The ball's in the net. There's a celebration. It's down to the Kop end, but they've got to check it. I have to say I'm not 100% convinced.
Alisson came out, didn't get there. I think Ziyech was off, but Werner was on first viewing. Let's have a look.
I think we shall see.
He's on.
Oh, I don't know.
No, hang on, his arm. Oh, that's his arm.
So close. It's Robertson on the far side here. It's one that's possibly claiming on. By the way, is any surprise to anyone that Chelsea have got through like
one
this?
One way or another, that sort of goal has been coming because of Liverpool's high line.
Do you know what I said? Do you know what I said to you earlier on? I want Jorginho on the ball with a bit of space. That's the first time we've got him on the ball with a bit of space. pinged it over the top. Nothing clever about it, just getting it over. They're checking it just now. It's all about the shoulder. It's all about the shoulder. Oh, it's not
I think by the looks of it, if they're saying that Robertson is the darker line of the two, that he'll be on. I think this is going to stand. I think this is going to stand, isn't it?
It's so tight. It's so tight. It's not a good angle we've got here.
I'm just looking at their two lines. It depends whose is whose line.
Yeah. I think it's offside. It is. I think it may be offside.
Well, the red line and the blue line there. Timo Werner waits. Martin Atkinson waits. Liverpool wait to kick off. What is the call? He's listening to something. Oh, Timo Werner's looking anxiously at him.
It's offside. It's a sickener.
Sure?
Yeah, it is a bit of a sickener, but it's really, really tough one to call. The angles weren't good here in the lines there. But, you know, okay, if it off or on, it's millimetres, right? It's absolute millimetres.
And that has been coming, that exact kind of chance.
Not only Werner, but the guy I say would pass it to him is Jorginho. If we can see it from over here, why can't Klopp see that?
I don't understand why he's not telling them to do something else down there. Martin Atkinson has now just penalised Mason Mount for a foul on Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I tell you, he's breathing a sigh of relief. Alisson, because that ball came bouncing through. And you know what? He very nearly took out Timo Werner. I was thinking he was going to take him out and it would have been a red card. Suddenly, Alexander-Arnold down the other end. Clips it across from the right edge of the box. It's 2v1 here, and Werner plays a nice little flick out to the far side. My goodness, that was close.
And by the way,
Piliqueta had one ruled out for that against Liverpool at the bridge recently, you might recall.
And just again, the game's just started, and Liverpool have left themselves 2 and 2 on the halfway line. Same guys again, Ziyech and Werner. Honestly,
they're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
N'Golo Kanté coming through here. Ziyech plays it through. Werner's going to get there. Left edge of the box before the byline. Liverpool flooding back, Chelsea flooding forward, and Werner, I think, might have pushed that too far. He did. It's going to be a goal kick.
It's one of those games. It's like, I mean, it's shooting ducks in a barrel. I mean, there's every possibility that you could have scored 2 or 3 by now. We're actually having a look at this offside again.
Oh, just to be really helpful, they've made the blue line apply to Robertson and the red line for the striker here for Werner, of course.
And it's his shoulder kind of.
It's just the angle he's leaning at. That is the sort of offside call, regardless of partiality or anything otherwise. That's the sort of offside goal that the rule was not built for. Here's Curtis Jones in Chelsea territory. I mean, that is a whisker away, and Chelsea deserved it. And quite frankly, should I say, Liverpool deserved it for the way they've been.
I mean, it's almost
unfathomable. They are actually asking to have goals scored against them, basically. They're going, here, just score.
It's almost, you watch Man City play what happened. They're on the ball. You know, Liverpool are doing this when they're not on the ball. And you're thinking, it's almost an invitation. Excuse me, I'll write a little letter to you. Here's an invitation to go and run over behind us. I am absolutely astounded that Klopp is allowing this to continue just now. I'm amazed by it.
Got to take advantage. Jones on the halfway line into Thiago, shifts it to Wijnaldum. And then out to Salah, who looks for an early ball towards Mane. It's a good one, and Mane's missed a kick. He's basically missed it. He's bounced underneath him, hit his leg and dribbled through to Mendy. If he caught it remotely cleanly first time, that's 1-0. It's a brilliant ball from Salah.
His movement's brilliant, isn't it? And he's got between Christensen and Piliqueta there.
Sadio Mane 6 months ago scores that 9 times out of 10. He barely even got it through to Mendy on this occasion.
It's one of those ones he had the shot and then he completely lost where the ball is. He didn't know where it had gone. It just shows you Liverpool, you know, they've got quality players, they can do something special, and it's just those two together there.
Alexander-Arnold on the far side, chips across in towards Firmino. It's easily gathered by Mendy away to our left. So we've had nearly half an hour here. Mane's had Liverpool's only chance. Chelsea have looked so dangerous in the oceans of space in behind the top-end Liverpool defence as N'Golo Kanté comes forward now. Wijnaldum stops it from getting through to Mason Mount. You just hope we're not looking back on that and thinking,
I'm already looking back and thinking that just
no,
now.
Yes, sorry. In terms of why on earth wasn't it 2 or 3-0 while they were shambolic? But maybe they'll keep doing it all game. Here's Mane out to Salah. They're looking a little more front foot themselves here, which could be good news for Chelsea too. Salah into Mane. Tried a very difficult ball back to Salah that have been easier for him to shoot, but anyway, it's out as far as Wijnaldum. Curtis Jones, left of centre, 30 yards, chips one in. Rudiger gets his head on it, and then Azpilicueta, and Thiago and Mane get in each other's way, and did Fabinho foul Werner? Thomas Tuchel's going berserk here on the touchline. I thought Fabinho probably knew what he was doing there to stop Werner getting to the bouncing ball. Liverpool have it back in the middle of the Chelsea half. I wonder if Liverpool score at the end of this, if that could get chalked off. Is Roberto Firmino with a neat little flick in the penalty box. And then Thiago to Robertson. Suddenly Liverpool are bossing the ball but 30 yards out. Mendy's still not made a save worthy of the name. He should have done from Mane a minute ago, but he made a mess of it. Thiago, good pass. Here's Curtis Jones curling 1 miles off target. Goal kick Chelsea away to our left. Well, a fascinating half an hour. I don't know if you'd call it full of quality. Thomas Tuchel is still making his point down there to the fourth official incidentally.
Well, he's annoyed with the fourth official there, but he also, just before that, he's going wild at his own players. And I think it's exactly the same thing as what we're saying here. We've got to take advantage of it. There's chances here, there's space there. Get it forward, don't overcomplicate it in the midfield. And then
yes, if there's a time for take as few touches as possible, this is it. N'Golo, give it to Jorginho or pass it yourself. Forward towards Mount, who's let Werner take over. Dead centre, 30 yards out. He plays it behind Chilwell, but the left back will collect on that far side. Infield to Mount, back to Chilwell with his orange boots. Then Mason Mount back to Rudiger. Up that far flank, the Chelsea left. An infield given away by Rudiger to Mane. Played a ball across the centre circle. Mane's got it to Salah. 30 yards out. Salah with a terrible ball looking back to Mane. They're overcomplicating it going forward, Liverpool.
I've watching Liverpool for half an hour here. You could watch half a dozen games from last season, you wouldn't see this many mistakes as you've seen in this.
You're right.
Absolutely. It's extraordinary to see such a difference in a team. But they have lifted to a positive going forward.
Chilwell crosses towards Werner. Ozan Kabak hits it from the penalty spot. And then, yes, they definitely look more of a force going that way, but they might be going that way now because Wijnaldum is suddenly breaking through the middle. Well done, Jorginho. And then well done, Jorginho again on Robertson. Liverpool throw by the Jurgen Klopp technical area beneath us.
Yeah, just looking at Jorginho there, each time I've watched him, since Tuchel's come in, his liveliness, his sharpness, his willingness to go and press a little bit further up and get the ball back a little bit further up than he was doing before. He's playing at a totally different tempo now than he was before. Now, it's good, you can make the other tempo and still look absolutely great. It's just a different style. No more, as I say that, it goes and clatters into the back of Mane, but it just shows you that willingness to get in there and make tackles and close down.
He's definitely working harder than he was previously.
Everyone is. He's really buying into it, really buying into it.
Chilwell header, Mount will make his on the far wing as Alexander-Arnold comes in to make the challenge. It was a good one. To Salah and then Firmino, and Salah again in the centre circle. To Mane in the centre circle. They're definitely gaining some rhythm on the ball in the Chelsea half when they're there, Liverpool. They still look as open at the back as they have done.
Their goal, inverted commas, is what's changed them. Going forward.
Like a sort of wake-up call without having to concede the goal. Should have been, and Alisson will be breathing a huge sigh of relief because, any keeper, even Petr Cech, can have a bad game. But he had a shocker against City. He then followed it up with a shocker at Leicester. He's also obviously dealing with some personal issues as well since then. So it's not a great time to be Alisson at the moment. And that would have been another black mark on him. All in black. Here he is. The ball comes back to him from Curtis Jones. Feels a bit more even now with 12 minutes to play in the half as Thiago puts one far too much over the top. I mean, I know I watched him look awesome in the Allianz Arena last August against Chelsea. I have to say, the Liverpool games I've seen, I've not watched him in a Liverpool shirt, and I know it's a less confident Liverpool side than thought. Wow, once. I don't know about you, Pat.
And it can happen that you're just playing the team in a style and situation that suits you, and that's what he was in before. I mean, you've watched, a classic, almost in a similar example was we watched Ziyech against us for Ajax. And yeah, we've seen little flashes of that. But, tonight, the one player who's actually been really quite quiet has been Ziyech, who's really not really got involved in the game enough.
He's been quiet since he came off with the hamstring against Leeds early December. Frank was still in charge, and you know that put him out for 2 or 3 weeks. But he started so well his Champions League games, and his full Premier League debut against Burnley. Absolutely, him and Mason Mount ran the show. They were magnificent. He scored then, and none in 15 for him. I know he's more about assists than goals, but none in 15 for him. There's too many Chelsea players who've got records either that negative or almost as negative. Pulisic's the same, by the way. No goals in 15 games. Timo Werner 2 in 22.
And we know the quality they've got. And we know they're okay. And it is one of those horrible ones where you think, we're going to get a 9-0 one day. I'd rather you had 3-3 now.
100%. I heard a Man U fan bleating about that the other day, saying, why did we waste all those goals on Southampton? Because they've had a few goalless draws since. There's a foul here on Andreas Christensen. He's missing nothing, and Chelsea will have a free kick from the right back spot, or the right of the 3 centre-back spot, I should think, with Captain Azpilicueta in his white and yellow boots, placing the ball down on the Anfield turf.
You're talking about Pulisic. I mean, if you add Pulisic's pace to this just now,
I wonder if that's a thought. Hudson-Odoi or Pulisic for Ziyech, not because he's not having a good game, but just to have another lightning player on to take advantage of this. There's a ball down the channel there for Mason Mount that Fabinho has to put out of play on the far side, Chelsea left wing.
It closing down again, isn't it? It's brilliant. All over the field. I mean, all over the field. Chelsea's closing down has been absolutely exceptional in this game so far. Not got what deserved out of it yet, but it's been superb.
The interesting thing about that pose I just put to you there is that even in games where Chelsea have been winning, Thomas Tuchel has made quite a lot of half-time changes. Not, oh, we're 3-0 down, I need to change something, changes. Genuinely, it went 0-0 or even 1-0 up. Actually, I've seen this, I'm going to do that. He's done it quite a bit in just 9 games in charge. I think in 4 of them he's made a half-time change. He did it the weekend, and that was tactical. Reece James for Callum Hudson-Odoi against Man United, and they weren't causing problems. So he might do that, you know, and that still looks that obvious.
I have to say, I do like managers who, you know, are confident in doing that. Not doing
That's how it should be, isn't it?
Yeah, but
you don't know how it's going to pan out. You pick a team and, oh, actually, it's gone like this. Well, I need that. There's Chilwell coming in field.
There is a slight problem at the moment.
That's not a foul. Mane's looking for one, and N'Golo Kante's picked it up. Ziyech outside him on this right side. Hakim Ziyech, you prefer it on his left. He's got it on his left. He's curled it in. He's curled it over Werner, and not far enough for Mount, but it's picked up by Azpilicueta. There's a shot on the spin from Mason Mount on a half volley, but it's miles away. In fact, it is down the stairwell. We're going to need new balls, please. It's literally gone down one of the Kop stairwells.
I know.
Never a foul.
Exactly.
Martin Atkinson looked at him and just...
Well, you mentioned earlier on, he's thrown himself into the back there, just thrown as if he's got, you know, punched in the face. In actual fact, he's not been punched in the face. He's got an arm resting on his shoulder. And there's a lot of players that do that, you know, anything near the face, they throw themselves down and look mortally wounded. And in actual fact, well done, Martin Atkinson, spotting that. Nothing in it.
Good ball from Curtis Jones to Andy Robertson, who feeds it into the box, and Mendy dives out at the penalty spot and gets there before Mane. Liverpool have just overhit 4 key passes, I'd say, tonight in that regard. The Mane chance was a great ball from Salah. That's it. Otherwise, it's been Chelsea's half, this. Mason Mount coming now into the box, into Ziyech. Hits it clean. First time, and I reckon on target, but it hit Ozan Kabak, who was only a couple of yards from him. That looked like it was... I mean, within the width of the post goal bound. I don't mean necessarily beating Allison. Looked like a shot on target to me. Fabinho's nearly given it to Conte. Tell you what, they've been there for the taking here.
I don't think I can remember another Liverpool team that's been this waiting to get scored against. And that break there came from the ball was picked up by Mendy. He just rolls it out to Jorginho, who runs half the length of the field with nobody touching him, and then he plays the ball through. I really want Jorginho to run the ball more often now, because he can play. It doesn't need to be a Fabregas ball. It doesn't need to be that.
No, you're right.
It just needs to be a ball clipped over the top, and it's not complicated, and he's got that in his locker.
I think there's that much space. I'd say N'Golo's got it on his locker, because but genuinely the margin of error is huge. You just hit it into you've got about a 20-yard window. We're not talking about landing it on an A4 piece of paper. We're talking about landing it on a tennis court. Yeah,
but we can see it up here. It looks different from down there, a wee bit. So it's not so obvious when you're on the pitch. But someone like Jorginho's has actually got the pictures. He's got the picture in his head and he can actually see it.
He's just making himself available right on cue in the centre circle there. He plays it short to Azpilicueta, who's now charging it. Thomas Tuchel tells Reece James, get up this near touchline. That's the right wing, the near side as we're looking at it here. We've got 6 minutes, but we'll have a bit added on because of the VAR check, I guess, as Rudiger plays the ball down the left. And Chilwell get in too much on it from Tony Rudiger, but it's the right idea.
I think maybe Chilwell was on his heels. I would say that much more. You're playing as almost a wing-back left midfielder. Your first movement's forward. You're waiting for that ball there. You're hoping for that ball there. And by the way, good spot. Looking at the 7-year-old there.
It's the second down. Please stand is in our TV pictures, and they picked him out in the biggest pair of gloves I've ever seen. 70 years old today. King Kenny.
Do you know how it would have looked much better if he'd have just sat in the middle of his own stand?
Yes.
The only person there.
That would have been much better. But he must be someone beneath us, I guess. His side, yes. I think that would be brilliant. To be the only person in the stand named after you. Mendy plays it out to Christensen. He made it look easy, by the way, a bit of control, because it wasn't the greatest pass to him, nor was it the greatest pass from Alexander-Arnold. Chelsea have a throw on the far side in the left-back spot.
Obviously Kenny was an old teammate of mine. We played together in Scotland. One of my first camps has 100 caps for his national team.
Is that right?
Yeah. We played. It's one of those strange ones. It's the same amount of goals as Dennis Law, so he's the top scorer. So we were all trying nothing else except to get Kenny a goal. And we couldn't get him a goal. We won the game, but we couldn't get Kenny a goal. And he never did get that extra goal.
Did he not get the next one?
No, he didn't.
So they're still joint top to this day? Well, Salah wriggling away down the right. Ben Chilwell's going to get there, and well defended Ben Chilwell. He actually kept it in. Chelsea kept playing. That is brilliant. Out from the back, Mason Mount. Still, it's not out. Well, it is out now because Ben Chilwell has gone long. Fabinho grappling with Timo Werner on the halfway line. Ball on the centre spot in Liverpool possession. Curtis Jones to Robertson. Now Wijnaldum in the centre circle. Liverpool in their red, playing from right to left. Another poor ball in the direction of Jones. It wasn't even close. And N'Golo Kanté has looked for that early ball. I told you could just put it anywhere, and Mason Mount has got onto it. Left corner of the box, Mason Mount. It's just so easy for them to get in. Pull the trigger, Mount. He does, and he scores. Buries it in the bottom corner.
Absolutely.
3 minutes before half-time. It's been coming because Liverpool have made it so easy for Chelsea to do it.
The only shock is taking this long. That is the only shock. I mean, brilliant player. You're right. It had to be that long ball over the top. It's been telegraphed all night long. As N'Golo Kanté gets it, pings it over the top. There, massive amount of space. Having said that, he's not away. There's a lot to do yet. But because Werner runs players inside, it creates a little bit of gap. And you know what? Nobody makes a tackle on Mason Mount there. Still has to ping it into the bottom corner.
Cracking finish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Despite how easily they got in, it is brilliant. Cuts across. I think Eden Hazard folks against, about 15 opposition, getting it on the left corner of the box, running then horizontally across that 18-yard line. A fab finish into the bottom corner. Mason Mount. We needed a goal-scoring midfielder this season. In fact, we talked about it enough. Yeah. Jorginho and Conte and Kovacic don't really score them. And then if Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic and co are a little light, then Mason Mount suddenly, I think he's already got this calendar year, I think that's 4 in 2021 already, and that's a super one. And the Blues are in front at Anfield, where Liverpool have gone 6 without a win and lost the last 4 in a row. Well, they are halfway to 5 in a row. Got a real lifeline with the very hairline offside call earlier in the half on Burnett. And Mason Mount with a fab finish has made it Liverpool 0, Chelsea 1, and frankly it is no more than either side deserve. N'Golo Kanté's away from Wijnaldum again, and now it's given away to Mane, who's tried to win a foul off Azpilicueta and then was out-muscled by Reece James, who's defended that situation really well, and it's back with Mendy all in grey. Oh, well.
Such a confidence about Chelsea, isn't it? And Chelsea should be confident just now, maybe slightly over there as Christensen does a little dummy in his own box there. But there's a real belief about the team, about the group. I was saying before the game, have a go at this Liverpool team. Ask them questions. Do not be over-respectful of them. Well, we haven't been.
No, and Martin Atkinson again is telling Sadio Mane to get up. He's gone down. That wasn't a foul either. Here's the goal scorer. And look at the high line again. It's put through for Werner, and across comes Robertson, and Martin Atkinson couldn't wait to blow his whistle. There's a little tangle, and it will be a free kick for a foul by Werner on Robertson. But it's just hit the ball anywhere over the top, and Chelsea are in. This is ridiculous. It should be 2 or 3.
It should be 2 or 3, but I honestly promise you, do you know when you played at under 16 levels, this is what teams would do against you, and you knew what to do against them. This is so simplistic. I find it absolutely stunning.
And the manager of the champions is down there, and he's not shouting anything at them in terms of, I don't know, get back and help or start with a deeper line. Or it's extraordinary, but got to keep taking advantage. It's only one. So we've seen a goal against a top oppo, Pat. There hasn't been enough of that. It's a ball through for Jones. If he controlled it, he might have been in. It falls through for Mendy. 1 added minute, I think that was, by the way, folks, and we are into it. It's a decent chance, this, Pat, actually. You see, and Jones was onside there. If he controlled it, much like Mane, he'd have been through 1-on-1.
But they have had a couple of, and that's maybe the slight concern, and the only concern. But we've had more half. They're doing it again. Ziyech was almost in there. Again, who's marking Ziyech? Tell me who's marking Ziyech.
Well, Ozan Kabak in theory, but he's now just jogged in. But he was anyway. We don't need to be worried about that. We can be absolutely dumbfounded by it. But anyway, throw into the chest of Mane. Well done, Christensen. Chelsea now will win a free kick. That should do it for half time, folks. Excellent.
Yep. Not too many stoppages in the game so far. The referee's kept it running on, so. Yeah,
half time it is, and well, the least Chelsea deserve, I think.
Can I tell you, I'm disappointed. 1-0 only, considering the paucity of the opposition and the fact that we've actually zipped the ball about well. If we keep on playing that way, and Liverpool keep on playing the way they're playing before, I went for 2-0 before the game for Chelsea because I felt confident. I would want to revise it. I might want to revise that. But surely Liverpool will be slightly better. But
well, they might be better going forward. But if that's the defensive line, we hope for more than 2 in the second half. But it's certainly halfway to an excellent job done. Chelsea going 4th right now, back above Everton, who won earlier, and a surprisingly poor defensive Liverpool are looking shambolic back there. It's red 0, blue 1. Mason Mount with a fab goal.